Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, the NFL edition, the one where we're going to be talking about that Super Bowl that just concluded this past Sunday, being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And we have the producer with us, the football expert, Justin Akindele. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you? I hope it isn't snowing where our listeners are listening from, because it's snowing in Ohio for sure.
Yeah, it's snowing in Ohio. We may still get some more when we go to sleep tonight. So that's always a plus. But we know where it did snow in Tampa, Florida, Tampa Bay, Florida. They got some pretty good weather. It didn't even rain during the Super Bowl where some people predicted it might rain.
Yeah, meteorologists are always wrong. I swear they're wrong. They're wrong more than they're right.
But yeah, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and really just you like the halftime show, things of that nature. But let's get into this. Justin, we both had the Chiefs in this one, and we were dead wrong. Tampa Bay came out winning 31-9. The Chiefs not even scoring an offensive touchdown in this game. Were you shocked by the score and how the game was played?
Yeah, I was definitely shocked. I didn't expect Kansas City to come out that flat. I was definitely expecting them to, be the Kansas City that we saw in the divisional round and at least the conference championship game. I mean, they were playing without Mitchell Schwartz for a lot of the games, and they lost Eric Fisher in the AFC championship game. I didn't think them not having their two starting tackles would be that much of a big deal, but it was honestly the story of the game. Tampa Bay rushed with 4, kept the safeties back and was getting pressure with 4, and Patrick Mahomes was under the rest the whole game. He did his best. He got surgery today for turf toe, so he was playing hurt. But yeah, the game basically came down to Kansas City's offensive line not being able to hold up to Tampa Bay's front four. I mean, they're incredible. Shaq Barrett, Dominican Suvia, Vea, Shaq Barrett, they were on fire, and gotta give all the credit in the world to them. That's what really won them the game.
Yeah, it felt like every play they were in the backfield of the Chiefs. I felt like that line, just watching that entire game, they couldn't block anything. And every time they hiked the ball, there's already 2 people ready to sack Patrick, and he had to run around. And I think there was a stat saying he had 500 rushing yards from fighting for his life, which is absurd. And also, he didn't get any help from his weapons. There were a couple that hit. I don't know if it was Tyreek who got hit one in the face.
Tyreek got hit in the face mask. He was Mahomes was scrambled to the left and was falling down, and it hit Tyreek Hill right in the face mask. Travis Kelce had a drop in the second quarter that would have been a first down. I mean, yeah, the receivers really didn't help him too much. The Chiefs did have some success running the football, and they never stuck with it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a couple good runs, and in the beginning of the game, they probably should have ran the ball more because Tampa Bay was in a two-man defense, meaning that they have 2 deep safeties and man on man across the board, and that's a good running look for the offense. And the offense should have ran the ball more, because if the defense is playing man across the receivers, when the receiver goes out on a route, it's going to take some of that run support out. So Kansas City definitely should have ran the ball more, and they just didn't do it. And yeah, no one really showed up.
Yeah, no one did. I honestly thought after that defense got that goal line stand that was going to be the momentum changer. I really did, but they weren't able to capitalize on that. And also, I just felt like, not saying the refs played a part in this game or anything like that, but Tampa Bay got a lot of calls, and I felt like the Chiefs did not get any calls at all. Anytime the Chiefs got a stop on defense, they were called for a holding or a PI, or even though I thought some were uncatchable. Did you see that as well?
Yeah, the refs were kind of playing they're kind of calling the game a little tight for my liking for a Super Bowl. But I was looking at the highlights before we got on, and no, they were legit fouls, but some of them were a little ticky tacky, especially the one on Tyrann Mathieu when he got the pick, and they called holding across the field. They like the dude they call holding on wasn't even in the play, and that negated the interception. That was a turning point for me. If Chiefs would have held on to that ball and got that interception and it wasn't negated by a penalty, I think that they probably could have changed momentum and like got back into the game at that point.
Yeah, it's just wild thinking that this Kansas City Chiefs offense did not score an offensive touchdown in the game. Like that defense was out of its mind, and even the offense too. I saw the stat that everyone who scored a touchdown for Tampa Bay was not there last year. Tom Brady had 3 passing touchdowns, 2 were to Gronk, 1 was into Antonio Brown, and Leonard Fournette scored a touchdown. So all the touchdowns contributed were to all players that weren't there. And when Tom Brady got there, they came there because Tom Brady's there, that's wild too.
Yeah, it's definitely wild. It's just, the culture that Tom Brady was able to bring down to Tampa Bay it's just incredible to watch. I mean, he got Antonio Brown a freaking Super Bowl ring. No one wanted to touch Antonio Brown. He was letting the man, live into his house. Mm-hmm. And Leonard Fournette, everyone thought Leonard Fournette was done. He can be one of their MVPs of the playoffs too. I mean, yes. They gave him the ball at opportune times and he took advantage of it. And yeah, I just think the players that Tampa Bay acquired along the way through free agency and during the season, lifted them and got them a Super Bowl win.
I would say too with the Antonio Brown thing, because we've seen how the NFL Hall of Fame, they'll keep you out if they don't like you for a while. All like T.O. and his behavior, said AB was significantly worse than T.O. But now with the Super Bowl ring and his production in Pittsburgh, I already thought he was going to be a Hall of Famer, but now he has to be first ballot, right?
I still don't think they're going to give Antonio Brown first ballot Hall of Fame, not him. If T.O. didn't get first ballot Hall of Fame, I don't think AB will. They did let Calvin Johnson get it on the first ballot, which is, surprising coming from the NFL Hall of Fame, but yeah, I just don't see it.
Yeah, because the NFL Hall of Fame, I will give them credit. They're one of the more stingier Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because I'm not even gonna lie to you, I take the Basketball Hall of Fame as a complete joke. So the NFL definitely does a good job of keeping their Hall of Fame, clean. And then baseball, they're not even electing anyone in the Hall of Fame this year. So that's a whole mess every time. It seems like all the players up for the Hall of Fame for baseball were steroid era guys.
So in with Hall of Fame, I don't know if they're really going to make a section just dedicated to Tom Brady now, because now he has a 7th Super Bowl. So he has the most Super Bowls ever, more than teams now, because it was the Patriots who had 6 when he was there, but now he has 7, and there was 49ers, Cowboys, Steelers, and all of that. This guy was a 6th-round pick and now has 7 rings, and the Bucs were literally 7-9. And like you talked about earlier, the culture, they took Jameis out, inserted him, got a couple other pieces, like you said, who were all washed up, and they won the Super Bowl. Before I even go to his stuff that people bring it up, do you think this is the best Super Bowl run that you've seen in your life, beating 3 who are going to be first ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks to win the Super Bowl?
It's definitely impressive. It's just more Tom Brady since 2014. He has won a Super Bowl every even year since 2014. The man has had essentially 3 different careers. You got the first years in New England, where that was a defensive football team. Tom Brady was just game managing, and they won 3 Super Bowls doing that. You got the middle of Tom Brady's career, where they were getting to the Super Bowl, but they weren't winning it. But Tom Brady was putting up numbers. He had Randy Moss. He had the 07 season undefeated. And then you got the third act after Super Bowl, where they beat the Seahawks with the Malcolm Butler play. So the man's had 3 careers. It's just impressive. I don't know if I'm going to say it's the best run I've seen from a single quarterback on the way to win the Super Bowl. As much as I hate Eli Manning, what he did in 2007 was really impressive. I mean, he went on. He won every game on the road, and he also be a Hall of Famer, the GOAT in the Super Bowl. So I don't think I can put this run over that, but yeah, Tom Brady has had 3 careers, and he has 7 Super Bowls to prove for it, and it's just incredible. It really is.
Yeah, if I do remember with Eli's one, they beat Green Bay in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, that was Brett Favre's last game in
And
Green
then in
Bay.
2011, he beat Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, because when I was thinking about it, because you're like Tom Brady first, you go to New Orleans, you beat Drew Brees, then you go to Green Bay and you beat Aaron Rodgers, and then you come home for the Super Bowl and you beat last year's Super Bowl champs. And that, I mean, I agree with the Eli one because the Eli one, he's the reason that that team wasn't 19-0. So that's a good point to compare those two. And now, me personally, I thought the GOAT stuff was really solidified. Not even now. I thought it was solidified after the Seattle comeback because they were down 14, and that second half, fourth quarter was amazing. And sure, Malcolm Butler sealed the deal, but that's why NFL is the ultimate team game. I thought it was solidified then, and then obviously with the 28-3 comeback. But now it has to be closed for the time being that he's the quarterback GOAT. Are you going so far to say he's pure football, the football GOAT, or where are you at?
Since football is such a team game, I can't go and say that he's the overall GOAT of football because he's just playing one position on a team where there's 22 positions. But quarterbacks, it's not up for debate. You cannot debate Tom Brady being the GOAT quarterbacks, 10 Super Bowls, 7 championships. It's just, you don't have words for it. Like, it's mind blowing when you say it out loud. 10 Super Bowls, 7 titles, like 7-3 in the Super Bowl. It is wild. Like, and you would think, and then it's just so crazy thing about the quarterbacks that beat him in the Super Bowl: Eli Manning and Nick Foles. Not Aaron Rodgers, not Big Ben. Big Ben never beat Tom Brady to go to a Super Bowl. Like, all his contemporaries can't even match up to him. Patrick Mahomes had the chance to, get a lead up on Brady, winning back-to-back Super Bowls, and now he's stuck at 1-2, so he's still in the Aaron Rodgers type of boat, Russell Wilson type of boat. So yeah, he's just separated himself even more winning the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. Peyton Manning had the Super Bowl win in Denver. He was the one who had over Tom Brady that he won with 2 franchises. Then Tom Brady wins it with Tampa Bay. So Peyton Manning doesn't even have that anymore. He's just set. The more he plays, the more he's just separating himself.
Yeah, I agree with the more he plays, the more he's separating himself. And I also come to wonder too, how many more Super Bowls would he have had if Ben Roethlisberger and Peyton Manning didn't exist in the AFC? Because you talked about it with the first 3. After those first 3 that he won, he didn't go back to the Super Bowl for 10 years.
He didn't win one in 10 years. He
didn't win one in 10 years, but he only went to one because he went to that one in 7 and lost.
And then the one in 2012. Yeah, the one in 2012 against the Giants.
So he had that huge gap that he didn't win. So that's my thing with Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's going to win 7 or anything close to that. But people forget that Tom Brady had a 10-year gap from 04 to 14 before winning again after winning 3. So do you think that Patrick Mahomes, after this loss, because Vegas already came out that they're the favorites, Kansas City, that they could come back, win again, because he's only, 25?
He's only 25.
He's only 25, and Tom Brady's 43. So if Patrick Mahomes plays another 10, 12, and now Tom Brady's making 40 look like it's the new 30. If he plays 10, 12 years, could he potentially maybe get 2, 3 more? Because right now in the AFC, who's really standing in their way?
In the AFC, if these teams get together, I mean, Buffalo keeps playing well. If Lamar Jackson ever can conquer his playoff woes, I think he would. I think he have a better chance of catching Brady if he was in the NFC, honestly. But Tom Brady is the outlier of all outliers. Like no quarterback in their 40s is playing well as Tom Brady. He's the only one. So a lot of these guys expecting that they can play into their 40s, like for me, I just gotta see that. Like I just gotta see if they can do that. But Patrick Mahomes, I definitely think he has 10, 12 years left, and yeah, I can definitely see him winning a couple more Super Bowls. But you know, it's hard unless you're Tom Brady. It's hard winning a Super Bowl year in year out. I mean, the last person to win back to back was Tom Brady, but the Chiefs just need to build a better team around Patrick Mahomes. I know that the offense is pretty stacked, but they need to work on their defense a little bit. Tampa Bay was able to run the ball too easy on them. Yeah. The coaching staff needs to start. See, the Chiefs didn't make any adjustments after halftime that game. They were just lining up and sending 5 receivers out, knowing that Tampa Bay is getting pressure with 4, not shipping with Travis Kelce or adding an extra lineman. They're just sending 5 receivers out every single time and not helping their line. So they just got to make better decisions, coaching and with personnel, so they can make it back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I just see with the AFC, you're right, with the Bills and with the Ravens, and so far Kansas City's gotten the better of both of them. And then we got to say them now because they're up and coming. They want a playoff game. The Browns, who potentially are up and coming, we'll see how they evolve next year. And there's also pieces where if Deshaun Watson lands somewhere in the AFC and makes the team an instant contender, or if he leaves, if Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow, if they step up. But they're the team now. Because they went to the AFC Championship game. If it wasn't for the penalty, they would have been in the Super Bowl. Then they went to the Super Bowl, went to the Super Bowl, lost. Usually when you have that type of stretch, unless you're like New England, you start to decline a little bit. Do you see them declining, or does the Super Bowl make them hungry again during the offseason to get back and beat the brakes off whoever they play?
Yeah, they're definitely a good football team. I could definitely see them. I can definitely see them going back to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to fall off too much because they're still going to have Patrick Mahomes, a healthy Patrick Mahomes. Still going to have Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. I just think they need to, fix their defense. They were 31st in rush DVOA defensively, so they need to, maybe get. It's really not even the defense line. They need better linebackers so they can stop the run better. And if they can correct some of those things on defense and become a more balanced team on offense, because they got Patrick Mahomes, so they think they can just pass the ball every fucking play. So they get a running game in there, and they'll be right where they are now. I'm not concerned about them right now.
Switch over to the NFC. Tampa Bay, they had their parade today, day of recording, and Bruce Arians is talking about they're going to run it back. That's usually what everybody says when they win, that they're going to win it again. And they have Chris Godwin in free agency, but Bruce Arians said they're bringing everybody back, so they're going to figure that out.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. In the NFC, what do you think their chances are to potentially go back to the Super Bowl? Because now, depending on how COVID and stuff goes in the offseason, Tom Brady didn't even have an offseason with these guys. So now he's going to potentially get a full offseason. Where are their chances on going back? What do you think on that?
I think they have the inside track to go back. Just look at their division.
Yeah.
We don't know who's going to be playing quarterback for the Saints. Carolina's still rebuilding. The Falcons are just the Falcons, so I think they're definitely going to win that division. They're going to get a home. They're going to get a home game in the playoffs. They might even fuck around and get the bye. So, yeah, I think they'll be definitely in a good spot. We gotta see what Green Bay is going to do. We need to see who the 49ers get at who's going to play quarterback for the 49ers. So that's going to be the key roadblock to Tampa Bay. What does the San Francisco's 49ers do at quarterback? Is Jimmy G going to play, or are they going to trade him or trade some pieces to, maybe get Deshaun Watson or draft someone? We just got to see what they do too, because I think that's going to be the main roadblock to their success of trying to repeat is the
49ers or Green Bay.
Yeah, 49ers or Green Bay.
What about, because that happens, Trey, what about the Rams?
Yeah, I see the Rams as a playoff team. I don't know I don't know how dominant they're going to be. I need to see how Matt Stafford fits in. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the 49ers are the real roadblock. The whole damn team was hurt this year.
Yeah.
They can still run the ball. They're going to get George Kittle back. They're going to get Nick Bosa back. We just got to see who. I mean, last year's Super Bowl, they almost won. They almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs with
Yes, they did.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
There was one aired pass. If he would have hit on one pass, they would have won.
So that's what I'm saying. If they can get someone in there that can be, a little better than Jimmy G was, they'll be all guns a blazing. And then with the Saints too, we gotta see who's playing quarterback for them too. I know they're in cap hell right now, but that's still a good football team as well. Drew Brees kind of brought him down in that playoff game. I mean, I hate to say it, but he looked really old in that game. So they definitely need a new quarterback. And if they can get a new quarterback in, I mean, their defense was solid. Michael Thomas missed a lot of years, so hopefully you're going to get healthy Michael Thomas for next year. So the Saints can be a potential roadblock in division, depending on who's playing quarterback for them next year.
So you're saying, as of right now, we could potentially see a rematch of these two if everything stays the same.
We could absolutely.
And there's a team that you didn't bring up who he just entered the news recently today and yesterday night. You didn't bring up the Seahawks. Russell Wilson was talking about he's been hit too many times and they need a better O-line. Were you shocked by him actually talking and saying something like that?
Him actually saying that, yes, I was shocked. But, I agree with him. Every time you watch the Seattle Seahawks play, typically it's coming down to Russell Wilson trying to save them. So I think Russell Wilson's a smart guy. He's a good quarterback. I think that, you should let your franchise quarterback, be in on a couple of decisions with, offensive personnel. I know he's not asking to pick out cornerbacks. It's just, trying to have a little bit more input into the offense. So, yeah, I have no problem with it. I know a lot of people on the sports media were saying they probably shouldn't have said anything, but I like him putting a little bit of pressure on the Seahawks. Absolutely. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Speaking of pressure on the AFC side, Deshaun still hasn't been traded, but now the Houston president has resigned after 20 years of being there. So, Justin, man, something's got to be going on in Houston. Something has to be.
So their president resigned today. Wow.
After 20 years of being there.
So that should tell you everything you need to know right there. He, the president, foreign president of the organization, thinks shit's funny, something funny going on over there. So yeah, Deshaun Watson, I don't think he suits for the Texans next year. Like I said, he is under contract for him, and it seems like the Texans are about to play hardball with him, saying that they're not going to trade him. We just gotta wait and see. But I've been on record saying that I don't think he's going to suit for the Texans again, and I think he's going to end up holding out until they trade him.
And then other quarterback news, they came out, Schefter saying that Carson Wentz could potentially be traded this week. Well, the week is getting closer to the end. Do you think he's going to get traded this week? And where do you think he's going to land? Who's going to take that contract? I'm seeing people talk hopes now that they could take the contract and be semi-okay.
Yeah, that's the only option that I see going. I think that it's either going to be the Colts or the Chicago Bears. I think if he goes to the Bears, it's going to be more of the same. And if he goes to the Colts, I mean, as long as Carson Wentz doesn't mess it up, that'll be a scary football team. But I mean, he regressed so much this year that the Colts are the only team that I think that can fix him. He goes back with Frank Wright, so I think the Colts is the move there for them. But yeah, Carson Wentz should be clamoring to stay with the Eagles. I mean, after playing so shitty for him, I think he owes them. So,
what do you think Carson Wentz could get on the market? What do you like? A first round pick, a couple first rounds? What do you think?
Maybe a first round pick, but I don't think he's worth. I don't think he's worth two after this 2020 season. Absolutely not.
No. I want to go back to Tampa Bay and with them winning the Super Bowl, because I don't know if you peeped Bruce Arians' staff, that his staff is full of minorities from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
from running backs coach, and obviously, I mean, we'll shout these two out when me and Chelsea do a podcast. But we have two women, Morel and Lori. Lori was the assistant defensive line coach, and Morel's the assistant strength and conditioning coach. First two women to win Super Bowl rings as coaches.
Yeah, yeah, man, it's incredible. I mean, Todd Bowles. See, Todd Bowles put on such a great. He's a defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He did what the Kansas City Chiefs coaching staff didn't do. He adjusted. That first game, he was blitzing Patrick Mahomes, and Tyreek Hill was carving them up. This game, he knew he couldn't blitz as much. He knew that Kansas City's offensive line was injured, and he rushed for, doubled Tyreek Hill, he doubled Travis Kelce, and you saw what happened to him. So big ups to Todd Bowles, big up to Brian Leftwich, the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They did a really good job on Sunday.
Yeah, they really did, and people might be trying to poach him now for head coaching jobs in the future. And also, last thing I do want to end is with Brady, but before I get to that, what did you think of the halftime show? Did you like it, love it, indifferent?
I'm indifferent. I mean, I liked the weekend, so I thought it was a pretty good performance. I didn't do what I said in the last podcast. I was drinking heavily, so I don't really remember too much of it. But from what I remember, I thought it was pretty good. The man has hits for days. I didn't really realize how many hits he has.
Yeah, I feel like he did well. The people who I were watching with, they were singing along to the stuff. So I think he did well. And in this day and age, too, some of the stuff he did was so meme worthy. So now that's how you judge how people do. If your stuff's meme worthy, you caught the attention of everyone. Did you make any money off the Super Bowl? Did you make any prop bets, anything like that?
Two prop bets that I put out on the podcast didn't hit. The Chiefs obviously didn't hit, but I was able to get some money back because I did do a live bet on Tampa Bay in the third quarter when I realized what the game was going to be. So I made a little bit of a bet.
Okay. So with Tom Brady, we talked about the GOAT stuff. Quarterback gets solidified. I don't think anyone's catching him. Aaron Rodgers only has one. Drew Brees has one. They're not. Well, Aaron could potentially get one, but he's not going to get 6 more. Patrick has a long career, but this is the NFL. Too much parity. And we talked about if he was the GOAT in football in general, and you said that's too hard. But the newest thing now, since he's won 7, is people are debating if he's the GOAT of GOATs. What do you think about this current debate going on? And a lot of people after the 7th are starting to say he's the GOAT of GOATs.
The GOAT of GOATs. I mean, football is just such a team game. I just can't give Tom Brady the supreme credit for all his Super Bowl wins. I know, with Michael Jordan, he's playing offense, playing defense, leading the team. So, football is just hard to compare him that way. And then, just GOATs of all time. We're personally honest with me, I think Serena Williams is my GOAT of all GOATs because that woman is just incredible and has been doing it forever. So Tom Brady's definitely up there. I mean, as a single man, Tom Brady has more Super Bowls than the 3 NFL franchises that have the most Super Bowls. So the man is just defying how we even talk about sports and how we even are categorizing these players just by the winning that he is doing so late into his career. He's 43 years old. This has never happened before. A 43-year-old starting a full season and winning a Super Bowl. We're in completely uncharted waters right now with Tom Brady.
Yeah, because people are thinking 7 Super Bowls, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, and like me and you have talked about it nauseum on this podcast. Making a team in the NFL is hard because of the salary cap. This ain't the NBA. It's hard. So him able to win 7 Super Bowls in this era's salary cap, absurd. And people have talked about is he the greatest winner and team sports, but now is he the GOAT of GOATs because he's playing in the NFL and he has more Super Bowls than the organizations. And you brought up Michael and Serena and things like that. And I know when I talk to Chelsea down the line, she's going to get fired up about it because people weren't even bringing up the women. So, she's going to
Yeah, I'll let Chelsea do all that. She has a women's sports game on lock, so she gets y'all schooled on that field.
Yeah, she's gonna spaz on that because they didn't even bring up Serena and Simone. And I think Tom Brady is definitely in the discussion. I don't know if I could say he's the greatest of all time, but he's definitely in the discussion now because 7-5 is wild. And God forbid if he goes and wins it next year and gets another Super Bowl MVP, that's 8 Super Bowls, 6.
See, what happens with me with Tom Brady, every time I count him out, '07 Super Bowl against the Giants, I thought he was going to beat the Eagles. Every time I think he's going to win, he ends up losing. In the times where I think he has no shot of winning, Atlanta, Seattle, he wins. So I ain't going to keep predicting Tom Brady. The man is just unpredictable. I can't get a read on this man. I'm just going to stop. I want to pick him next year to win a Super Bowl again, but I just gotta see how offseason shake up, and I have picture that closer to the.
You know, it's crazy too. This was his 10th Super Bowl. This was the first time his team has ever scored a touchdown in the first quarter, and this is the first Super Bowl where it was after the score, it was never in doubt. All those other Super Bowls have come down to a field goal, or like Tom Brady could be 0-9 in the Super Bowl because of how close those games were. Like, it's ridiculous. And this is the game that at 43 they just beat the hell out of Kansas City. It's wild, man.
I mean, he has a stacked roster. I mean, if you think about Tampa Bay, I mean, they were 7-9 last year. You gotta remember, Jameis Winston threw 30 interceptions. Like, throwing all those interceptions, and their defense was good last year. Like, the defense for Tampa Bay was just as good last year as they were this year. Jameis Winston was just putting that team in terrible positions. So you get that corrected, and yeah, you can go on and win a Super Bowl.
But as you said, Tom Brady has probably been on the most stacked roster of all time, and he lost that Super Bowl. It's happened.
Kansas City is at least offensively, they're a stacked roster too. And you saw what happened to them. You see what a front four can do against a shaky offensive line. I mean, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, the story of the game was Tampa Bay's front four. They were getting after them. Kansas City's tackles could not block JPP or Shaq Barrett or Namen Suter, even Vita Vea. There was one play, Vita Vea just pushed the center directly into Patrick Mahomes, and he threw an incompletion. Like, Patrick Mahomes couldn't get any time to do anything, and they won him the game. And when your defensive line is that dominant, it just makes everything else so much easier defensively.
Oh, yeah. Outside of quarterback, man, those lines are the most important things.
It really
outside of quarterback, they are the defensive line and offensive line are the most important things in football. But Justin, man, that's all I had. Was there anything else you have to say? I know we're both waiting eagerly on Carson Wentz. We'll probably have to do an emergency one for that, but
yeah, I'm just waiting to see how the quarterback carousel works in these next coming weeks. So it's about to heat up. We're about to see some big names moving. So I'm just really excited for that. I'm glad that the Super Bowl was able to be played. There wasn't any rain. I mean, I wish Kansas City could put a better performance so we could at least have a good game. I mean, by the third quarter of that game, you knew, like, it was over. I don't even really remember the fourth quarter. So, yeah, I'm done for this podcast, but just waiting to see what happens with these quarterbacks in these coming weeks, man. See where the NFL free agency moves everyone.
And with NFL, got to shout out the NFL. They just completed their season in COVID, like we said they would.
By any means necessary.
By any means necessary. They got it done. They made money. The NFL ain't the league to play with when it comes to making money.
No, this was the lowest rated Super Bowl since like 2007. I think that has a lot to do with, the pandemic. People throw Super Bowl parties, and I think if you take away that element, it's going to naturally just lower the ratings. But
you said lowest rating since 07?
Yeah.
So the Patriots and Giants?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that one was low because everyone thought the Patriots were going to win and didn't turn it on. I mean, they were the overwhelming favorite.
Yeah, they missed a good game if you didn't watch that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't miss anything much. But yeah, you're right, man. Just keeping up with this quarterback carousel that's about to start and free agency. We're getting mock drafts now, and Todd McShay's mock draft came out. He has, for the first time in history, 4 quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3, 4 now.
Damn.
I mean, now he has Zach Wilson to 2, which would go to the Jets, which also means Sam Darnold might be on the move. So,
gotta see how it shakes, man. It's gonna be interesting.
But yeah, first NFL completed season on the L7C podcast. Justin, man, the NFL expert, was here giving you guys that knowledge, putting some extra money in your pockets. You know you'll be hearing from Justin during the off season. And when the NFL comes back, you'll be hearing from him. You still will be hearing from Justin on other podcasts. He's going to be hopping into the Naruto What If Battle podcast. So that's where his NFL notes and studying is going to go. He's going to be studying the fight. And yeah, don't worry. You'll be hearing Justin still. You don't have to wait till football, but you will be hearing from Justin. And with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. You guys take care.
See you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.